everyone, my name is Kang. I recently graduated from University of British Columbia with a Master in Landscape Architecture, and I'm currently working in Vancouver, BC as a landscape designer. So Langara Park is my master's thesis project. This project explores how public golf courses could be transformed to provide more equitable access to green space and create a more resilient and adaptable city. The site is currently called the Langara Golf Course. It is one of the 3 city-run 18-hole golf courses in Vancouver, Canada. The site is next to an arterial road, the Cambie Street, and within a few minutes walking distance to the Langara-49 Avenue Skytrain station. You can see that the site is very accessible to pedestrians and can provide direct access to downtown Vancouver and the Vancouver International Airport if you take the Skytrain all the way down. So why does the site matter? What you're seeing now is the Cambie Corridor plan by City of Vancouver, which is a framework to guide change and growth over the next 30 years along the Canada line. The plan is looking to double the population and add over 30,000 new homes in this area. This makes the Cambie Corridor the biggest growth area outside of downtown. Langara Golf Course is situated right in the middle of the corridor, surrounded by proposed residential and mixed-use developments. So on the left side is the existing conditions, near the site with the Oak Ridge Center. You can see that's majority single-family housing, and this is the Columbia Park right here. On the right is a render that you might be familiar with if you work for the city, showing proposed new mid to high rises and additional density that will be adding to the area. And public green spaces will be very important in assisting city stormwater management strategies and supporting residents' mental health and providing habitats for other animals. Putting the issue of golf course aside, how many golf courses do we actually need to support all the golf enthusiasts in the city? We'll do some simple math here. According to the American Planning Association standards for outdoor recreational areas, an 18-hole golf course will serve about between 20,000 to 60,000 population. This is for people who actively play golf. City of Vancouver has a golf participation rate about 15% and a population of around 700,000 in 2017. So we have about 100,000 people that actively participate in golf. If we divide this number by the higher end, 60K, 100K by 60K. So you can see that City of Vancouver really only needs 2 golf courses. Currently the City of Vancouver has 3, public 18-hole golf courses, including Langara, McLeary, and the Fraser View, and 3 18-hole pitch and putt courses, and 3 private 18-hole golf courses on the southwest end. If you recall the number from the previous page, if we only need about 2 golf courses, it's clear that our supply of a golf course has exceeded the demand. In terms of spatial equity, the City of Vancouver has a target of ensuring that every person lives within the 5-minute walk of a park, greenway, or other green spaces by 2020. However, when I drew a 5-minute to 20-minute walking buffer zones from community parks and major parks, it showed that a lot of the areas in the southern part of the city is still lacking access to public green spaces. 5-minute walking distance is about 400 to 500 meters, and if we were to draw a 1 kilometer and a 2-kilometer buffer from the site, which is about 10-minute to 20-minute walk time, we can see that Langara could really be utilized to better serve the underserved southern part of the city and provide more accessible green spaces. In terms of sizes, Langara has an area of 114 acres, which is about 0.46 square kilometers. You can see that Stanley Park is the largest in the city with over 1,000 acres in the area. And you can imagine if Langara was to be converted to a park, it would be the 5th largest park in the City of Vancouver. And what could this park look like, and how could it better serve the community? So I mentioned earlier about the site being very accessible. You can see that on this figure, the red circle is where the Skytrain station is located. And the yellows are all the bus stops. And the site has a walking and running path along the perimeter of the site called the Langara Trail, currently managed by Park Board in City of Vancouver. And red triangles are showing the access point to the trail. The trail is very popular and in the community and gets a lot of usage. So pedestrian, and to the east side to your right, you can see there's a lot of pedestrian pathways that sort of at the surrounding space, but people really cannot go straight across the site because of the golf course design, and it's being fenced at the perimeter. So they have to go around and take a longer route to go to the other end. Now, major vehicular access to the west Cambie Street and the 49th Avenue to the north, and a parking lot is right north of the site. And to the right is the bicycle access. There are 3 designated bike lanes at the perimeter of the site. In terms of solar access, I was looking at June 20th and September 21st. Definitely a lot more solar access in the middle, providing opportunities for more active programming, and more shaded west edges for more passive programs throughout the year. Back to the question we had earlier, how could public golf courses be transformed to provide more equitable access to green space and create a more resilient and adaptable city? You can see either you have one used just for golf, or you have a variety of programs that are provided for the whole community. And zooming on to the site, some photos I took during my site visit. On the left corner is existing clubhouse with a restaurant and washrooms. The site has a central pond in the middle, sort of for redirecting surface water and irrigation, providing more some ecological services. On the right is part of the Langara Trail at the perimeter of the site with big trees and shades. At the bottom, is a remnants of the stream that was once running across the whole site, and some maintenance pipe in the area, and a storage hub that's currently on site. Now, looking at the aerial photo of the site, we can see that the fairways and the existing trees on Langara Golf Course created this diagonal strips that cut across the site. Through discussion and exploration with my advisor, Susan Herrington, we decided to incorporate the concept called deep forms, which started by Professor Joan Lyle, who is teaching landscape architecture in the States. He argues that landscape design in Western culture has been considered a matter of creative visual imagery, usually divorced from any concept, or understanding of natural process. So the concept of the forms asks for design that combine the forms and process that shape the earth. In our case, the fairways and mature trees. On the right, inspired by this sort of concept, I created a series of diagonal lines across the site to represent the natural process and how human has been shaping this land in the last decade. Using the previous grids as a reference, a waterway running from Alberta Street, which could be connected to street runoff or storm sewer system to slow down water flow and provide filtration, was then circulated across the site, running through the existing pond and a new pond created at the south end. Overflow will be connected back to the city's sewer system. The second step is to weave major pathways with the streams and create access in all 4 directions. We talked earlier about how the existing golf course cut off pedestrian circulations west to east. People have to go around to get to the other side, and this will definitely relieve that situation. There are 2 types of pathways. The red is a pedestrian only, and the purple is a bike and pedestrian combined pathway. Then the third step is the programs, and locating the programs that intersect the water feature and the major pathways, connecting all those elements together. So there are 3 design principles for this project. One is to promote sustainable water management by restoring the natural stream. 2 is to celebrate Vancouver's unique history and culture. 3 is connecting people to local food, plants, and artists. Here is an overall landscape plan, inspired by the concept which is talked about and by following closely to the 3 design principles. There are a variety of programs such as the Water Plaza up north and the public market and creative hub, To the left, large dog off-leash area. To the right, an amphitheater and open festival areas at the southwest corner for events and large gatherings. At the southern part of the site, there's a new pond created with a beach and boat rental. So super exciting stuff. And here we won't spend too much time on this, and we'll delve into the details in the later slides. The first principle is promoting sustainable water management practice by restoring the natural stream. In the 1850s, Vancouver was inhabited by the First Nations before the arrival of the Europeans. The rivers and streams provide important sources of food for the native people. However, with urbanization and densification, all these streams are piped and therefore lost in the city. Langara Golf Course, which highlighted here in orange, you can see that one of the main streams actually used to run across the site. With growing demands on city's drainage, sewer systems, and public space on the Cambie Corridor, the City of Vancouver is working on a variety of projects to relieve the pressure. One of them is the Alberta Street Blue-Green System and Cambie Park Renewal Project, which a lot of if you work for the city, you'll be really familiar with. And Cambie is just a few hundred meters north of the Langara site. If you remember, Alberta Street was also at the northern start point of the waterway for the site. The project would be a great addition to the initiatives that the City of Vancouver has been working on and will further strengthen the ecological corridors from Elizabeth Park all the way to the Fraser River. A few analyses run on, to see the existing slope and water flow directions to determine the best locations for the programs. The slope, is generally going down from north to south from about 68 meters to 43 meters. So it's quite a bit. It's about 25 meters of elevation drop from the north part of the site to the south. And the slope analysis of the site is showing flatter areas which are colored in red, pink, and yellow with up to 5% slope. And the steeper in areas colored in green, blue, with from 7.5 up to 20% slope. So the flatter areas will be utilized for more active programs, and the slope more steeper areas could be used as barriers or different kind of programs for the site. And the lab map is highlighting the waterway on site. There are two systems of water flow or two types of streams. One is a formal linear form at the entrance to give the public more opportunities to get in close contact with the water. You can see that water plants on the right, the water plants have been placed in the water feature to help with filtration, and the squares are stepping stones that act as a pathway and a formal play area. The second type is more of a curvy, sort of natural stream systems with riparian buffers and more planting at the edge for wildlife protection. Cutting across. Section across the southern end of the water plaza. This is how people could really walk onto the plazas, interact with the water more closely. And at the southern end of the site, there's a pond with viewing platforms and a beach on the west side, and also boat rentals, giving residents a variety of experiences. As you can see here, this is how people could potentially interact with the site and the ecological systems it provided for all the wildlife in the area. The second principle is celebrating Vancouver's unique history and culture. Located along Cambie Street, the pedestrian main entrance becomes a gathering space and a memorial for Vancouver's lost old-grown forest. The cordon steels here columns symbolize the forests that have been cut down on the site. And the name Langara Park has also been translated to major languages being spoken in Vancouver to celebrate our cultural diversity. The amphitheater and the open sort of festival grounds area could serve as a great gathering space for events and festivals, which is very lacking in the southern part of the city. The third principle is connecting people to local food, plants, and artists. Here we're showing the community gardens with some garden huts and chicken coop and storage and seating. And the lots are not rigidly sort of placed, they're kind of placed together, allow people for more mingling and interactions within residents. In the public market and creative hub, close to the main entrance, the public market is pretty open with a wooden and concrete structure. And the creative hub, this idea using the secant or storage sort of containers that provide more permanent storages. It could be used for cafes, bars, or artist sort of studios, which will provide more variety for residents to go to. In summary, golf is a great sport for a lot of people, but with densification, urban developments, and proposed change on the Cambie Corridor, it is time to think about other uses for this amazing public space that could be enjoyed by so many more people than an exclusive few. Thank you for your time.